Let's do some of that talkie talk about what's coming through the picture box. Let's do some of that talkie talk today. Let's do some of that talkie talk. Take a little walk around the movie block. Let's do some of that talkie talk today.
Welcome to Talkie Talk, a movie show. This is the show where we learn about movies by chatting with people who work in the industry. I'm Susan.
And I'm Ben. Today we're going to be discussing the film Airplane.
And joining us today is our special guest, Chris Witaske.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you on today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, Chris?
What I do? Well, I would say that I'm mostly an actor, but I'm also a writer and a producer, an improviser, a host. So I do it all. I'm a jack of all trades. A multi-hyphenate, they call it these days.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Awesome. For your acting career, what was kind of the path you took for that? Where did you kind of get started? What kind of tangents did you go off on, if there were anything like that?
I started as a birthday party magician.
Awesome.
Love this.
I really did.
Yeah.
I had a whole act, and me and my friend from childhood would do magic shows at birthday parties.
That's awesome.
And I really, for a while, was thinking about doing the David Copperfield, become a professional magician, until my dad took me down to Chicago, because I grew up in the suburbs, to see Second City when I was 13, and it blew me away. And so then that night I was like, I don't want to be a magician. That's what I really want to do. And so I signed up for improv classes the next day. And then, so that's how it all started for me in the comedy world. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool. So you started in the comedy world and then sort of transitioned to acting later.
Yes. Yeah. And I would say I mostly do comedic, acting stuff. Mm-hmm. I haven't done a whole lot of drama. So
okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Did you have a signature when you were your short-lived magician career? Did you have a signature trick that you guys did?
We did one trick where we pretended to make them blow up a mouse. we had a real mouse, and then we put it in this box, but there was some trap door or something, and then the box explodes. And then everybody, all the 5-year-olds in the audience were like, "Oh my God!" But then the mouse reappears somewhere else or whatever.
Oh.
That was our big, that was our grand finale.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive trick.
That's an intense finale for kids.
Yeah.
Probably not safe looking back on it. I think we used a bunch of firecrackers.
That's
it
amazing.
Worked out. That's fine.
Yeah. So you have quite a prolific career. What projects have you worked on?
Well, I've worked on a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, commercials. The big ones, I was on a Netflix show called Love. That was a real popular show. That was really kind of a big breakout role for me. Mm-hmm. I played the kind of idiot best friend. And that was for Netflix, and Judd Apatow produced it. And so that was a cool project to be a part of. Most recently, I booked a role on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And so I shot a couple days ago one scene, and then I go back in a couple weeks to shoot another scene where I get to scream at Larry David.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Nice.
And call him a bald asshole. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. You've been on Arrested Development.
Yeah.
You were in
Lady Bird,
The Wrong Missy. Very impressive resume.
Thank you. Yeah.
What is a typical day like when you're acting versus a typical day like when you're doing comedy?
So, well, when I was on that show, when I was on Love, it would be usually a really early call time. LA is so huge and spread out. And so it's a lot of driving to different studios and stuff. So this Love we shot at Sony. So that's a good 45-minute drive. And then you have to factor in traffic and all that.
Yeah.
But then, get there, you've got your own trailer, you make sure you have your lines memorized. And then we would shoot all day, and then come home, and that would, be a good solid 4 months of shooting.
Okay.
But then a lot of, when I first moved out here, Bob Odenkirk is kind of a mentor of mine, and he took me out to lunch, and I remember him saying, the hardest part about being an actor is what to do in between jobs.
Yeah.
And I didn't totally, and I remember him saying, like, you should get like a hobby. And he even said you should do woodworking. And I remember at the time, because I had just moved out here, thinking, like, what the is he talking about? Like,
he wanted you to be the next Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
Right. But now that I've been out here for 7 years, I really realize, like, oh, you have a lot of downtime in between jobs. And so it is good to, like, keep yourself busy doing something. And, you know, I never did take up woodworking, but, like, you know, like filling your days can be hard sometimes, you know. Yeah.
So you said you did some writing. What kind of writing are you doing? Are you doing anything right now, or?
Yes. So I'm working on a project that I can't say much about.
Okay, that's fine.
It is for Netflix, and it's going to be an adult animated comedy, and based on a Twitter account that I started. And so it will probably come out like maybe in October or something.
Oh,
wow. Very cool.
Yes. And it's Chicago based. So that's
nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
So speaking of Chicago, you not that long ago sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at a Cubs game at Wrigley Field. Can you tell us what that was like?
I did. So a couple of years ago, I got to throw out a first pitch, and that was awesome. And that was at Wrigley Field. Now, the singing of the seventh inning stretch was during COVID times, and so I did it over Zoom, but they projected it up on the big screen. So I was actually just sitting in my backyard with the dog and like singing into my laptop, you know. So it wasn't as cool as like doing it from the box, but they put it up during the game on the big screen, and so that was cool. Yeah,
that is pretty cool. That's hilarious.
As a lifelong Cubs fan, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Also, honestly, being on the big screen, more people probably saw your face than if you had stood at the game.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's true. I heard from a lot of friends that day, like texting me, like, "Whoa, was that you?" Yeah, that was cool.
So other than that, do you have any moments from any time in your career where you just were sitting there thinking, I cannot believe this is my job, either in a good way or a bad way, where like, I can't believe this is what I do every day and like how I make a living?
I remember a moment. So we started filming Love on the Sony lot, but then we moved to the Paramount lot. And the Paramount lot is like this really historic, like old Hollywood movie lot. And I remember one day I was getting driven to set in a golf cart, and we were like passing all these people who were like dressed up like zombies. And then we drove by and there was like dogs that were like actor dogs. And I'm like zipping around the Paramount lot on a golf cart, like driving past all these people in costumes. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is a cool moment. Like,
that is awesome.
Just hanging out with a bunch of acting dogs and zombies.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what they were filming?
I don't know, but it was like, it felt like old Hollywood, you know?
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's really, really cool.
I also got to do my character was like a stunt man in Love, and I got to do a bunch of cool like stunts and stuff. That was really cool.
Oh, awesome. You actually got to do them yourself?
I did some of them, and they like, there's this at Universal Studios, there's this big Waterworld show, and they like rented out the whole place so we could film there.
Oh, nice.
And it was just for my character. And so like, there we are, like, you know, they like shut down a theme park just because my stupid character. Like, yeah, so that was cool.
That's awesome.
What's your favorite stunt that you got to do?
I got to like drive this boat that has this big machine gun on the front of it, and it's in one of the episodes. You're like driving this big like old Waterworld boat, and I'm like on the front like. Yeah, that's cool.
So what advice do you have for people who are interested in either getting into comedy or acting?
Well, I am so glad that I started in Chicago, because I feel like Chicago is a great place where you can like cut your teeth and like learn and get better and fail like a lot. And like, have a bunch of bad improv shows, and like that's how you learn, you know.
Yeah.
And so once you're out here in LA, it's kind of more like you can't like, you don't want to like screw up once you're out here. You want to like, you know, know who you are and know what you're good at. And so I would say, you know, if you want to do comedy specifically, Chicago is a great place to get your start.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's good to be able to be a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just pigeonhole yourself in one thing. Like, especially nowadays, it's good to like wear multiple hats and be skilled at a bunch of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hosted a kind of like a live talk show thing at UCB out here for a long time. And I like interviewed my comedy heroes. And that was a skill that I like got better at, was like hosting and like being an interviewer. And like, I feel like I really got good at that. And and that's not something that I necessarily was like, oh, I want to do that. You know, like it was never a dream of mine, but it was cool to like try something else.
Let's get into our featured film. Today we're going to be discussing the 1980 film Airplane. The movie is directed by Jim Abrams, David Zucker, and Jerry Zucker. It stars Robert Hayes, Julie Haggerty, Leslie Nielsen, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The film was nominated for a Globe for Best Comedy. Heads up, we are going to be spoiling the movie. So, Susan, can you give us a quick breakdown? What was this movie about?
Yeah. So first off, Airplane is a parody, mostly a parody of the movie 0 Hour, but there are some other references to other airplane movies in there. It's so similar to 0 Hour that if you read the synopsis of both movies, they sound almost the same. But yeah, so at the beginning of the movie, we meet Ted Stryker. He's a former military pilot. He's very traumatized from something that happened to him in the war. We also meet his kind of ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, who's a flight attendant named Elaine. She's leaving him, so he decides to follow her onto her flight to Chicago. And then, obviously, hilarity ensues because it's a very funny movie. But everyone on the plane gets food poisoning, and it's left to Ted Stryker to overcome his trauma and see if he can land this plane. Very dramatic. But yeah, so very, very funny movie. Interesting to watch in 2021.
For sure. Absolutely. Chris, you chose this movie. Why'd you pick it for us to discuss today?
Well, so I think this might have been one of the first like bonding experiences I had with my dad for a movie.
Yeah,
my dad would show me, you know, all the classic comedies when I was young. Sometimes when I was too young, you know.
Right.
I remember he showed me like Animal House and like Porky's.
Yeah. Oh, God.
All the classics.
Well, Revenge of the Nerds. But I remember Airplane being a very special one. And like I remember just as a kid watching it and like being just flabbergasted that you could make a movie like this. It's just purely silly. Like it's just so stupid and silly the whole time. And I remember like it being inspiring because I was like, oh my God, you can like do this? Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. The whole time I was watching it, I was laughing like the whole time, but also every joke I was like, that's so dumb. That is such a dumb joke. But
and like people sat down and wrote that, you know?
Yeah. And you know, this is a very famous comedy film, but the jokes are so silly. And, you know, Leslie Nielsen's one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yes.
And I'm so sad he's no longer with us, but I grew up on his movies, you know, like the Naked Gun films and Police Squad and Airplane, all that kind of stuff. And his dry delivery of lines makes me laugh so hard. And he's so good at it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even come in till like halfway through the movie.
You're right. Yeah. I love what I think what I love too is that they play it like it's a drama. They play it so dry and straight. Super
straight, right?
Yes. But the stuff they're talking about is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wonder if did the Naked Gun movies get made kind of like because of Airplane? Like did Leslie Nielsen get
when I was reading about Airplane, I think before this movie, Leslie Nielsen was not a comedic actor at all.
Right.
So this was his first one. And then they're like, oh, you should.
That's great.
Yeah, you're great at it.
Yeah, I think the Zuckers produced the Naked Gun movies. I think.
They did.
Okay.
But this was their movie that like really allowed them to do all those other ones.
Right,
Like this movie did really well. So they're like, oh, okay, I guess this can be a thing that's successful.
And the jokes that are in this movie are wild jokes.
Yeah.
Like jokes that most movies today would not have
No
it.
way.
That's the thing too. I don't think you could make a movie like this anymore.
No,
Right.
I don't think you could.
I mean, you can make a silly movie, but the jokes in this, like even from the top, it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, like there are some shocking jokes in there.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they went into it making fun of literally everything. So it's like all a level playing field almost
Right.
in terms of
Right,
topics
right.
you're allowed to hit on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's sort of interesting to watch it as a historical piece too, right? Because
Right.
like, we all love comedy. And you working in comedy so avidly, you can see as comedy sort of changes over time, right?
Yes.
To sort of reflect society.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't woke, Like,
Right.
It shows how much we've evolved.
Right.
But there's also other scenes where the guy, they have like that dance where they first
Like
night where they meet.
Like the Studio 54.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
disco
yeah,
dance.
Yeah.
It goes on.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah,
Yes.
it goes on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That scene is like 10 minutes long of just them dancing.
Yeah, and there's a whole fight scene happening in the background and stuff.
Yeah, just crazy.
I definitely feel like this is a movie you have to watch more than once just to see every joke, because there's the jokes that are right up front, and there's so much stuff happening in the background. Like when they're in the communications tower and the guy's opening the washing machine in the background, and there's so many dumb jokes that you don't notice at first.
Yeah, and the jokes are so fast, right? They were just like throwing jokes at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yes, I know. I wish that we would be able to make just stupid, silly movies like this today. Because this like had a budget, it like has a big budget. And like, the scene where the airplane crashes through the window. And stuff, like,
that scene's awesome. And it's
awesome.
It's like 5 minutes into the movie.
Yes, yeah.
And the actors, I mean, these are all some pretty major names from that time period, right? Some pretty major names of dramatic actors who they got to do this movie. So
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in it.
yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I think that might be my favorite scene where like the kid calls him out for being the actual like basketball player. It's like my dad talks about you a lot, and then he like breaks the fourth wall and like yells at this kid. It was so funny. It's such a good
He's
scene.
like, I'm out there every night busting my ass.
Do you guys have a favorite scene from the movie?
I don't know. I really love the line where, what do they say? We need to find someone who can fly this plane and also someone who didn't have fish. Like that's such a stupid line to say in such a dramatic moment.
Yes.
Well,
I love the little, like that, like similarly, I love just the little stupid throwaway jokes where he's like, are you nervous? Yeah. And then she goes, first time. And she's obviously referring to first time flying.
Right.
No, I've been nervous lots of times.
Yeah. Every time they do a joke like that is just really perfect. It's such like simple humor, but it gets a laugh every time. Yeah. It's just a good reminder that comedy doesn't have to be so like cerebral. It can just be dumb and still be just as good.
It can just be silly. Yeah. But it is crazy to go back and watch stuff that you watched at a different time in your life, and to watch it now and be like, oh, wow, there's a lot of like, yikes.
Yeah.
There are moments where it's like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of yikes is a good way to sum that up.
This movie is a lot of yikes, right? But it's still really fun to watch and to, sort of see how they play with those situations, coming from a 1980s perspective,
right?
To sort of addressing all kinds of issues. I remember the scene, I think this is the first time you saw it, right, Susan?
Yeah, I've never seen this movie before.
So, I watched it with Susan, and the scene where the stewardess is playing the guitar she's serrating the little girl who's sick, but she's also playing it for the whole airplane, and they're all getting into it. And the little girl, somebody knocks off her IV, and so she's like struggling. And Susan's face was shocked the whole time because she's there like this little girl struggling to like survive.
She's pretty much dying.
And it's been playing for straight laughs.
Yeah.
Like it's the funniest thing in the world, and they're all singing. watching Susan watch that scene was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that's great. I love the silliness of it. You know? I think that when if you can take out all the yikes moments, and just focus on the silly, it's like, that's what like holds a special place in my heart,
Yeah,
Totally.
definitely.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, obviously you recommend this movie. Who would you recommend this film to?
Well, maybe like students of comedy who want to learn about, the evolution of comedy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to with the disclaimer that there's a yikes.
Of course. Yeah.
Please understand, this movie has a lot of problematic content that would not be made today for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yes. Totally.
But it also has genuinely funny moments. Yeah, especially if you're like a comedic actor or just someone who's into comedies, I would for sure watch it. Yeah.
We'd like to finish up our show today with a game that we're calling Wiki What? Transportation Edition. Chris, you're going to be playing against Susan. So here are the rules. I'm going to read the plot of famous movies straight from their Wikipedia pages. As soon as you know the movie, shout it out. If you're wrong, the other player is going to get a chance to guess. I have 7 movies for you to identify, and the first person to name 4 correctly wins our prize. In honor of Airplane, each of these films prominently features a vehicle.
A theme. I like that.
Yes, this is a themed game. All right, so first one, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, first one. LAPD SWAT bomb disposal officers Jack Traven and Harry Temple thwart an attempt to hold an elevator full of people for $3 million ransom by a bomber, later identified as Howard Payne. As they corner Payne, he takes Harry hostage. Jack intentionally shoots Harry in the leg, forcing the bomber to release him. Payne flees and sets off the bomb, seemingly dying in the process. Jack and Harry are praised by their lieutenant, and Harry is promoted to detective. Having survived the incident, however, Payne watches from afar.
I don't know what this movie is. I'm just guessing LA Confidential because it's based in LA.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
All right, Chris.
That's incorrect.
I'm going to have a little bit more, and I think this next session you're going to get it.
Okay.
The next morning, Jack witnesses a mass transit bus explode. Payne contacts Jack on a nearby payphone, explaining that a similar bomb is rigged to another bus, which will activate once it reaches 50 miles per hour.
I'm so mad at myself.
It's going to detonate if it drops below 50. Do you know the movie?
Of course I do. Speed.
The movie is Speed, correct.
I had to wait one more paragraph.
Good job, Chris. You have 1 point.
I don't remember all that stuff leading up to the bus, but
I
okay.
don't either at all.
I know. We're starting at the top of these movies, all right? I'll try not to screw up their names anymore.
If I remember correctly, Speed 2 is on a cruise ship. Is that right?
It is.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen Speed 2.
It's not very good.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
What is it like if the boat goes under 20 miles per hour?
I believe it's 20 knots per hour.
Yeah, 20 knots.
All right, Chris, Susan, question number 2. With the world becoming a desert wasteland following a societal collapse from warfare, a survivor named Max is captured and taken to Immortal Joe's citadel by the War Boys.
Mad Max.
Which one?
Fury Road?
Yes!
Yes! Really help me.
Yes!
Very good.
Okay.
Fury Road was a guess, so I'm very happy that I got that.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
I think that's the only one I've seen. I don't think I've seen the original ones.
Fury Road's a masterpiece. All right, next one. Susan, you gotta step it up.
I know. I'm paying attention.
Up,
I'm not going to jump the gun, though, this time, like with Speed.
All right. In 1985, Marty McFly is a typical teenager living.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yes.
Okay.
Susan has a point. Score is 2-1.
I'm glad that wasn't Back to the Future 2, and just I hadn't gotten to that sentence yet.
All right, next one.
Okay.
After witnessing a brutal murder, Sean Jones is escorted by FBI agents Neville Flynn and John Sanders on a Boeing 747 to testify in a trial. Despite increased security for the flight, Kim arranges for a time-release crate full of venomous snakes to be placed in the cargo hold.
Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane is correct. Chris, you got 3 points.
I had Con Air stuck in my head, and then
I was about to say Con Air too.
Good job, Chris. 3-1.
Okay.
Susan, got to come back.
All right.
Next one. In 1996, treasure hunter Brock Levitt and his team board a research vessel to search for the wreck of a ship for a necklace with a rare diamond. They recovered a safe containing a drawing of a young woman wearing only the necklace.
Is this Titanic?
It is Titanic.
Oh, are you raising your hand to answer?
I was about to say Titanic. You got it.
Is it 3-2 now?
It's 3-2.
Oh man. I still have to be on top of it because if he gets one more, he wins, right? There's 7.
There are 7.
Okay.
4 to win. Chris is 1 away.
Oh, wow.
All right, we have 2 left.
Okay.
Next one. On a deserted highway, a heist crew driving 3 modified Honda Civic coupes assault a truck, steal its cargo, and escape into the night. The following day, a joint LAPD and FBI task force.
Fast and the Furious?
The Fast and the Furious is correct, Chris. You are our winner.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Very good. Well done. Chris,
speed.
Yeah, speed gotcha. Well done. There is one more. Do you guys want to hear this?
Yeah.
All right. A combined Russian-American Special Forces operation captures a general, the dictator of Kazakhstan. And 3 weeks later, U.S. President James Marshall attends a diplomatic dinner in Moscow, during which he praises the capture and insists the U.S. will no longer negotiate with terrorists. Then, Marshall and his inner circle, including his wife Grace and 12-year-old daughter Alice, and several members of his cabinet, prepare to return to the U.S. on Air Force One. In addition,
Air Force One.
Air Force One is correct. Chris, you killed it.
You literally just said the name of the movie.
Yeah. If you let him talk long enough, eventually.
Otherwise, I would have had to say, the plane that the president flies on.
So, Chris, is there anything else you want to plug?
I'll plug my Instagram.
And what's your handle?
Witow, WITOW.
Great.
Okay.
I'm always looking for Insta followers, baby.
Okay.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us. We love your work, so please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much, and it's been my pleasure being your guest, so thanks.
Talkie Movie Show is hosted and produced by Susan Swarner and me, Ben Bloom. It's executive produced by Michelle Levin. The music is written and performed by Steve Trowbridge. You can hear more of Steve's music at trowbridgesounds.com. The show art is created by Melissa Durkin. If you have a movie you'd like us to discuss, shoot us an email at talkietalkmovies@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. Now go watch a movie.